Good afternoon, cabbies and cabettes. My name is Sean Paul Day and you are listening to London Taxi Radio. Now, you must have been living under a rock for the last 4 years if you haven't heard of Cabbies Do Killy. They are a group of intrepid cab drivers that have scaled the dizzying heights of Mount Kilimanjaro, not once, but twice. And they did it in order to get fit and raise money for charity. Well, this time they are taking on a completely different challenge. They have morphed into Cabbies Do Atlantic Row. And the name speaks for itself because early next year they plan to row 3,200 miles across the Atlantic Ocean from Lanzarote to Antigua. Now, I kind of get the Lanzarote bit and I get the Antigua bit. It is the bit in the middle that I find most daunting, and if you ask me, I think they are off their heads. But here to convince me otherwise is cabby Stuart Lockhart, who will be taking up the challenge, and two for the price of one today because I'm also joined by Scott Harrison, owner and founder of the Six Pack Revolution, and without whom this challenge might not even be possible because it is his program that is responsible for whipping these cabbies into shape. I'll come on to you in just a moment, Scott, but before we start, listeners, I've got to say I feel like I'm again on an episode of Love Island because these fellas are in mighty fine fickle. Let's get the lowdown on this, Stuart. I mean, what the hell compelled you to want to do this challenge?
So, to be honest with you, it was before we climbed Killy. One of the other cab drivers who's doing the row and also done like sort of Killy, Darren, he said to me, "How do you fancy?" This is how he asked me, "How do you fancy going to Antigua for our next challenge?" I said, "Yeah, I'll be well up for that." And then little did I know, he then dropped in quietly that we're going to have to row there. So I'm literally a man of my word, and so once I've said I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I've thought about it non-stop since, but I've said I'm going to do it. So
yeah, but this is no small feat, is it? I mean, this is going to take 60 days to complete, and roughly. Also it's not a leisurely row across the Atlantic, is it? This is actually a race, isn't it? So what does it actually entail?
So there's like, in our race, there's only now, I think, going to be 3, maybe 4 boats. So because of COVID, it's been scaled down. Then now one is the first race of its kind. There is a sort of bigger event, a world famous event, which is leaving a couple of weeks before ours, which is what like elite sportsmen do.
Oh, really? So this is untested ground then, untested territory?
Well, it's not, because the main race, the world famous one, they do it, I don't know if it's every year or every 2 years, something like that. So, and the fellow who's putting on our event has done that twice. So he's tried, but that's an exclusive, really expensive way to do it. He's tried to set up his own one to make it open to everybody. So basically, right, normal people, if they want to row the Atlantic, they can do it in his race. It's called the Atlantic Dash.
Right.
They've already got teams in it for 2024 and 2025 already.
And so what's the scheduling like? So you're going across the Atlantic Ocean.
Yep.
Do you have to row for 24 hours a day? Do you sleep for 8 hours? What's the plan?
So it all depends on the teams. What we're planning on doing is we are literally doing 2 hours on, 2 hours off. So we will literally be rowing.
What, over a 24-hour period?
From the time we leave to the time we get to Antigua, as long as we can row, like, i.e. the weather's not too bad, we will be rowing 2 hours on, 2 hours off.
So that means you only sleep for 2 hours and then row for 2 hours?
Yeah.
And are you doing anything to adjust to that sleep pattern beforehand? Because that's going to really take it out of you, isn't it?
It is, but when you think about it, on the plus side, I bet you don't get 12 hours sleep a day now.
No, never.
So
not with Myrna shouting at me.
Yeah,
no,
so
never.
But also,
doesn't that assume that you're going to fall asleep dead on the 2 hour finish of the row?
Which also on
you might be awake for the I can't get to sleep when the 2 hours has passed.
So also in the 2 hours off is when you have to eat. We're going to be able to do live streams back home.
I mean, I'm loving your positivity about it's better than having you're getting 12 hours sleep. I'm not so sure about that.
But also, you're going to get to know each other really intimately, aren't you?
Yes. I know exactly what you're getting at, and yeah.
Because it is a real. I mean, the thing is, this isn't just a long boat you're going out on. This is a pretty sophisticated piece of equipment, isn't it?
Yeah. So our boat is 29 foot. It's a 4-man boat. There's only 3 of us who are going to go now, which probably won't make that much difference. And probably, again, looking on the positive side of it, there's going to be less weight in the boat because we've had to order less food.
Yeah.
And it's also going to give you more space on the boat.
Yeah.
So, but yes,
Well,
but it's not a normal boat.
When I spoke to Darren and John just before they went out to do Mount Meru and Mount Kilimanjaro, they said one of the biggest problems was with altitude sickness. And they said you can't even prepare for that. And it's not even if it's consistent. You might get it first time round, you might not get it second time round.
Yep.
So you can't gauge it. Now, likewise, motion sickness is also really debilitating, isn't it? Is there anything that you're doing to prepare for that? And what are you doing to climatise for being on the ocean for so long?
So there are tablets that you can take. You take them. It's about an hour before.
Oh yeah.
But I think I will be okay. When we done one of the training rows, Darren was literally throwing up after his first row. And what was quite strange,
and where was you doing that first row?
So we done it. So the boat is down. Was down in Christchurch, and we went from Avon Marina. When we were out, because it's like sort of really shallow there, we actually got stuck on the bottom, going out and coming back in. And we was literally just going up and down the Solent. So we was out for 24 hours, but literally going around in circles, just because it never really mattered where, because we knew we had to be back in at a certain time.
Yeah.
If we missed that slot, we was out there for like a sort of another 12 hours. So that's why we stayed close.
Yeah.
But
you're talking about, I mean, you talked about that you might be down to 3 people rowing.
Yep.
But what, say 1 or even 2 of you, get stricken with motion sickness, and it really is debilitating. You can't provide to the team as such. Is there still a chance that you can complete the challenge?
Yeah. So we done a sea survival course with a school called Aurora.
Right.
And the girl who done that course, Dawn, she's actually done it on her own. So
okay.
I'm not sure, I don't think we've got any solo rowers in our race, but Dawn is going to go out in a couple of weeks to like sort of do the big race. She's now in a team of 12, but she has done it on her own. So you can do it on your own, but obviously the boat is smaller. So I don't know whether one person might be able to do it until the others start feeling better. But yeah, it's
and
it can be done, but
yeah,
I don't know whether we'll be able to do it on our own.
Well, the ocean can be notoriously hostile as well, can't it?
Yep.
Treacherous even. So what contingencies in place to safeguard you if things really kick off when you're out there?
To be honest with you, when we're out there, we're on our own. People keep asking me, have you got a like sort of safety boat going alongside you? No, we leave Lanzarote, the teams leave Lanzarote, we'll be lucky to see each other again until we get to Antigua, because obviously the ocean is that big. But we are in constant like phone and like sort of radio with land, so if one of us does fall seriously ill, we at times you can be up to I think 4 days away from any help.
So it can take 4 days for someone, even if somebody's really sick, to come in and kind of rescue you.
So
wow.
So if you did a mayday that someone's dying, because their leg got bitten off by some shark or something, it's 4 days.
Depends.
Or they'd fly someone in. I suppose.
Well, no, you can't fly because you're going to be. It depends where you are, because you're so far out. A helicopter can only do 300 miles, I think. So when you do a mayday course, which we learnt on a sea survival course, what's the word? The like laws of the sea, nautical law is anyone with a boat who can help has to help you.
Yeah.
So if they're near enough, they have to come and help you. But obviously, if that's a big sea container ship, that is going to be one of the hardest bits. Will be getting off our boat into that, and also I don't know, say that boat is going to South America.
Yeah,
it's not going to drop us to Antigua it's going to go to South America. So you could be on that boat for months. Yeah, wherever it's going to go.
Now, Scott, you run and own something called the Six Pack Revolution.
Yes.
Right. Can you just tell me a bit about yourself and what that entails?
Okay, so the Six Pack Revolution is an online fitness, nutrition and personal development program. It's currently in 65 countries and tens of thousands of participants all over the world. And I'm going to take all credit for Stuart's positivity.
Well, he's looking mightily
I've obviously
fit,
instilled in him this warrior that I've got by me. I'm going to take the full credit for. He did nothing to achieve it himself. It was all me. I'm only kidding.
Brilliant. Now, some people would say fitness is fitness at the end of the day, but this is a specific kind of challenge, isn't it? What are you having to do to make sure that these guys are mentally and physically optimised to take on this challenge?
Well, the most important thing with anything fitness wise is what you eat.
Yeah, right.
So they need to make sure that they're properly fueled for the task ahead. And I was just going to ask them, do you have to take everything for the whole journey, food from day one?
Yeah.
So you can't get anything in after, so you have to take everything.
So obviously,
so it's quite a challenge.
Obviously, when we're out in Lanzarote, we can pack the boat with stuff that's going to last you, like fresh fruit and things like that.
Yeah.
But probably after a week or so, we're literally going to be eating sort of basically fancy pot noodles. That's what type
like
of food it is.
Dehydrated food.
Yeah, so this is a different ball game to what would be on my program. Of course, in fact, they'd be the complete opposite. But they need to carb load a lot, I guess. Because if they're doing those 2 hours every 2 hours, and it's, as you say, it could be really treacherous and hard work. And you've got no choice. You know, they can't just sit there and forget it, can they? If they want to complete it.
But also, I mean, it's fair to say as well that the guys going out there are no spring chickens. I think you're the young blood.
I am the youngest.
You're the young
blood. I
am
actually turning 50 in the boat.
Right, and the others are racing towards retirement, aren't they?
Yeah.
I know Darren is. Bob is.
Yeah, Darren and Bob. I think they're 56.
I mean, this is cracking on in life.
Same sort of age.
So, I mean, this must be significant as well. I mean, what would they have to do to avoid the kind of injuries that they might be susceptible to because of their age?
Well, it depends on how their life's been leading up to now, right? So if they've carried on keeping their fitness up, working out strength training and stuff like that, then their body should be in a pretty good shape. But I don't really know the other guys, do I? Stuart,
no.
So I can't really comment. But I mean, Stuart's in good shape. Stuart's been a martial artist for years as well, and he's done my program many a time. And in fact, he probably knows it better than I do. And he's mentally though, you need to be really strong as well. Just remember that too. You know, it's not just the physical side. If anything, probably more so the mental side, because
I agree with that.
Yeah, you need to know when to dig deep and believe in yourself.
And also, I think climbing Mount Killy, I can understand how teamwork was vital there. But if one of them got ill, say with altitude sickness, they could effectively be taken out of the squad, couldn't they? And everybody else could still ascend to the top. But it's different, isn't it, if you're in a boat together and you're extremely reliant on each other for teamwork. So, I mean, motivation would be a big thing in this situation, wouldn't it, Scott?
Yeah, you've really got to be able to lift each other when the chips are down. But I think you'd be pretty good at that, Stu.
I'm sure we are going to have. Listen, I get on really well with the other two. But I'm sure we're going to have times where we're going to have crosswords.
The other two, we'll give them a shout out, because the other two is Darren and Bob.
Bob, yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Now, come on, look, I'm sorry, Bob, but he's got to be made the poster boy for this, because he looks like Captain Haddock.
Oh, Bob, yeah.
Bob, doesn't he? He looks like he should be selling fish fingers.
And also with Bob, he's like, I'm an Arsenal fan. Bob's a Spurs fan. Halfway over.
You're talking about teamwork, Scott. There you go.
When we're halfway over, Arsenal are actually playing Tottenham.
Oh, really?
So that's when it could all go pear-shaped.
So do you get live streaming the other way around? You get it coming through to you as well?
That's going to make things really
hostile.
If you watch a game of football or something like that, it'd probably be the most expensive game of football you'll ever watch in your life.
Yeah, well, the one who loses, though, I mean, the anger could actually get you over to Antigua, couldn't it? Yeah.
Quick. But yeah, no, he's going to be tough. We're going to learn a lot about each other. We will need each other because we're all going to have our days where you just like.
I think you'll learn a lot about yourself as well.
Yeah.
You know, you've
Cool,
got
yeah.
that's going to be quite a lonely place out there.
Like when we done Killy, day 2 was sunny and it was like sort of climbing. It was exciting. Day 3 literally poured down from the minute we woke up to the minute we got back. Day 3 on Killy, I could have not. I would have give up. I could have quite easily have said, "That's enough. I'm done." But
and do you get kind of through a pain threshold?
For Killy, it's just tired because you don't sleep. Obviously, this I don't really know. I'm thinking like I've got a bit of an iffy back, so when I do me 2 hours on, 2 hours off, literally the last half hour is a struggle. So obviously, the further we get into it,
because rowing
if you've got a dodgy back, rowing's the last thing you want to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that aside, dodgy back aside, rowing is a very good all-round exercise, isn't it?
Yeah, full body workout, brilliant for cardio, heart and lungs. It's tough though. I mean, it's really tough. It's one of the hardest, I think, machines in the gym.
Yeah.
I've got to say, when you see
properly.
rowers' bodies though, they're amazing shape.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
They've all got big shoulders and.
Yeah.
But it's more legs than shoulders. Everyone thinks it's your arms and your shoulders. It's all legs. Basically, all your arms and hands are doing is holding onto the sort of handles. Your legs your legs should be doing all the work.
Poor hands, they're going to have all calluses on. They're going to be.
Well, I've got a few now.
Really sore.
So Scott's program is on. What I'm doing now is weights.
Yeah.
So I've been doing the weights with no gloves on, just to roughen my hands up.
Yeah.
But we will get blisters. But from what we know, you'll get the blisters in the first couple of weeks. You just have to put up with it.
Yeah.
After that, your hands are going to be fine.
Now, Scott, come on. Cabbies are notoriously unfit. I think the last exercise they did was when they used their space hopper when they was about 7 years old. That's cabbies for you, isn't it? And it's a real sedentary job. What do you say to cabbies who are thinking that they might need to do some exercise, that they might actually, just need to get out the cab every now and then? What do you say to them to kind of motivate them to do some exercise, because cabbies more than anybody need to do some exercise?
I think it's going to be two things. One is the exercise is important. That's more of an investment in your future. So if you exercise more, your core strength's better, your bone density is better, your muscle tone's better, your posture is better. All of those things will pay you back in untold amounts as you get older, because otherwise you start to hunch over, you can't walk properly anymore because you're not using those muscles. So you really need to make sure that you are definitely doing some kind of exercise. But the other thing as well with cabbies, if I'm not mistaken, is they can be ones to grab a pasty and a sausage roll,
for breakfast.
So that's gonna be the biggest thing. So really, you need to change the way you eat. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting your time a little bit. So if you want to get some of that timber off, you need to definitely sort out your relationship with food, with drink.
And I think that is the hardest thing, because the job encourages you to eat badly as well, doesn't it?
But also, when as a cab driver who has done his program, as he said, his program is only a 75-day program, so you've only got to be really strict for 75 days. Then you can play with it a bit. But what I like about it is anybody could do it. Well,
the results are phenomenal as well. I mean, I was looking through the website. The results are absolutely incredible just by doing the 75-day program.
Yeah, and it's called the Six Pack Revolution, which is kind of a little bit of a.
People do get put off by the name of it, and I have to say, don't be put off by the name of it.
Yeah, because it came from me getting a six-pack originally back years ago, and then I created this program, and then it's obviously it's exploded worldwide, and lots of celebrities do it and everything like that. But we have ladies from a size 18 dress going down to a 10 in just 75 days, no saggy skin. We have guys going from a 36 waist to a 30 in 75 days with no saggy skin. But regardless of the visual, what it does for you mentally and emotionally as well as physically is mind-blowing.
Well, I think that's more the point as well, of the mental health benefits that come with exercise. I know, because I do some exercise.
You're pretty good.
And thank you very much. But I do know that when I haven't exercised, that I'm never happy.
Yeah.
So I think if you get it into your mindset,
it's the best antidepressant on the planet.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
But
I think that, but people who don't exercise, they don't get it, do they?
When I first done Scott's program, I was 15 stone 3.
Really?
And as someone who's always been sporty, that just crept up on me. I did not even see myself that big.
Really? Because I always remember you as being really slender.
15.3.
Really?
I got up to.
Okay.
And when I had done the first one, I did go down to 11.5 stone, which I do think I did go slightly too skinny.
Well, you can get really into it as well, can't you?
But yeah, like also that wasn't I didn't go too skinny because of the program. It was because I probably got a bit lax with it because I'd lost my weight. And then I thought I could like miss meals out and things like that. That's why you should follow it 6 meals a day or whatever program you're on.
There's all different versions. Of doing
whatever program you're on. If you follow it to the letter of law, his phrase is not a blueberry out of place. You will get there, and
nobody's alienated from this. Everybody can do it.
Anyone can do it. We've got 18 to 76-year-olds, people that have got no legs, in wheelchairs, cerebral palsy where half the body don't work. We've also got athletes, got Olympian on the program. So everything bends with the wind. We're live with you all day, every day, from before you start till after you finish. So we support you. You ask a question, it's answered in minutes, and we change things as we go through to get you the best result possible.
And who wouldn't want a six-pack? Hey? Who wouldn't want a six-pack?
But you will be surprised. Well, that's called
a fraction.
It's called this six-pack revolution. Obviously, the best results are people who get amazing transformation. Probably most won't get it. I've never had a six-pack, but I have, but not for years. But it's just like what I like about it is any cab driver can do it because you can you work at your own level. So whether you're big 19, 20 stone or 11 stone, 10 stone, you do the same program. You work at your pace.
I think the biggest problem with cab drivers is just starting. I think
it's wanting to do it as well.
You've got to want it.
You got to really want to change your life. And what it does, as you were saying about mental health, and I'm putting aside people that have had PTSD and
yes, of course,
let's put all that aside. Most people in this world are riddled with anxiety. Everyone.
Absolutely.
And they've all come through my hands. Everyone's got really bad visions of the future, and they worry and worry. And it's because they don't eat properly. Because if you think about it, people come to my program usually because they're overweight or their heart and lungs don't work properly. They want to get fitter. They want to look like what they see in the mirror. And to do that, they know they've got to move around and eat better. They know that. But they forget that the mind is a part of that body too. So what you put through your mouth also affects your brain and your mind. So that's why when a bit of stress comes your way, you can't cope because you put diesel in the petrol engine. It doesn't work properly.
I kind of get that. It's and I think if they just was able to start doing it, then exercise focuses the mind in all kinds of areas as well, doesn't it? Not just the exercise itself.
It affects every part of your life. Business, relationships, friendships, hobbies, everything.
That's right. I think I'll have to get out more, do some exercise.
I think what people got to not worry about as well is thinking, I've got to go to the gym for an hour.
You
can do 20 minutes. You can do 20 minutes at home.
Well, that
10 minutes. Start somewhere.
That is what I was going to say. When you do Scots Pro, there's 3 different sort of stages what you can do. 3 different programs what you can do. It's all 75 days. If you do the basic one, the only piece of equipment you need is a rope. You can probably do half hour a day.
Well, I think what puts a lot of people off is going to the gym, isn't it? So if they can start at home,
everything's done at home on my program.
Oh right, okay, brilliant.
I mean, you can do it at the gym. It's all at home.
I haven't been gym since before COVID.
Right. Okay.
So I do all my stuff at home. Do it all at home.
Well, I think
it saves you some time as well because it depends how long it takes to get to the gym, wait for someone to be off the equipment, get back from the gym. Also procrastinating. If you can just quickly jump in the garden, whip it out, you don't procrastinate so much as well.
Well, you don't need to go in the garden to whip it out. Look, okay, let's do some housekeeping. If people are looking to do some exercise, get started, looking maybe even for some kind of training, how can they get in touch with you?
Okay, so our website is thesixpackrevolution.com. So that's THESIX packrevolution.com. And if you want to go onto our social media, it's at the Six Pack Revolution. And if you want to speak to me, I'm also available at I am Scott Harrison.
Brilliant, brilliant. And Stuart, now this isn't being done all in vain. This is being done for 3 very good causes. That is an orphanage in Tanzania, which a little money goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, so we raised money for them when we done Kilimanjaro. So these kids
that went really far, didn't it? Because you actually was able to save an orphanage through the money you donated.
They was actually having their house removed from under their feet. So they're obviously orphans already. So they've already had a hard life.
Yeah.
The building where they lived was like literally being taken away from them. So we said whatever we do in the future, we will always leave some money to them, because as you say, they're not going to need as much as what else, because it's going to go a lot further.
No, that's a brilliant idea. And the Taxi Charity for Military Veterans, which the charity speaks for itself.
Yep.
And of course the Stroke Association, which
the Stroke Association. So how we got involved with the actual rowing was one of the original team members. He's gone a bit shy, so I won't mention his name. He was in COVID. He was working as a HGV driver, and he actually picked up our boat with the fella who has kindly lent us the boat. He's a fella called Billy Taylor. So Billy's already rowed the Atlantic 2 or 3 times. He's done the Indian. He's mad. He's done loads. So he actually took our boat down to Cabbies in Spain. They've got talking. Why is this going here? Blah blah blah. Next thing we know, we're sort of doing it. So, but he sadly had to pull out because probably a couple of years ago now, 18 months ago, he's had a massive stroke.
Yeah.
So he's, to be fair to him, he's like sort of still kept his mind, and he's actually signed up to do the Atlantic row in 2024.
Okay. Well,
so hopefully,
good luck.
He'll be well enough to sort of do it. Yeah. So the other charity, because of his stroke, we took on board, and we're raising money for the Stroke Association, which, when you think about it as well, with cab drivers, it's probably one of the biggest illnesses that.
But it's also highlighting potential problems down the line if you don't do Scott's programme.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But also, these are 3 great courses. So if cabbies out there do have some spare change, and I know it's a bit difficult at the moment, but if they do have some spare change, then it really is worth contributing to. And I've got to say this, that there are a lot of initiatives out there, this being one of them. And being a cab driver doesn't just mean that you have to push a cab around every day. There are a lot of things happening out there that cab drivers can get involved with, and that makes them more invested in the job itself as well, doesn't it? So get involved and follow Cabbies Do Atlantic Row. I mean, Facebook is good. Darren does regular updates, doesn't he, about your progress, which is fantastic. I'm sorry John has had to pull out, because John was really committed to Kilimanjaro.
John's literally just lost both his parents.
So
lost his mum and dad within 6 months of each other. So I think it's just a bit too much for John right now in time. So hopefully, but John has signed up to do the London Marathon next year. So hopefully,
well, good luck, John, and maybe you'll do this again. Do you think? No, chance. You haven't even done it this time round.
No chance.
Okay, so it really is that.
And also, to be honest with you, we won't have the opportunity to do it again because we're struggling to raise the money now anyway.
Let's just touch on that, because money is crucial. These are 3 very good causes that really does deserve us to contribute. But you do have something also called the 500 Club, don't you?
Yeah.
Does that ring any bells?
Yes,
the 500 Club. And that's trying to look to organisations who have a bit more money that might be able to give a little bit more to the cause.
So what we sort of done was to be honest, probably wrongly, threw our eggs in one basket and was looking for the like sort of big sponsorship. We got let down a couple of weeks ago, so now we're aiming at the 500 Club. If we can get not loads, but if we can get like enough small companies with a spare £500 here, and since we've gone down that route, we've had quite a bit come in. So so if any companies have got a spare 500 quid, you can get your name on the side of the boat. Scott's done it with his company. He's given us more than £500, but
brilliant. And Cabbies, any loose change goes towards it as well, doesn't it? So, and get involved, whether it's with Scott's programme, let's all get fit in 2023, because you've got now, how long have you got? It's January you go out there.
So the boat was actually, we actually took the boat last week to Burnham-on-Crouch. So the boat is probably on its way now. And we have to be in Lanzarote for December the 15th. So we've got 2.5 to 3 weeks where we've got to do seminars, first aid courses. Basically, we have to prove ourselves that we can row the boat. We've got to do a 48-hour row. But we actually set off with all weather and all things going well. We set off January the 1st.
So if the weather is particularly treacherous before you start out, will it get delayed or will it just get cancelled completely?
No, it won't get cancelled.
Right,
no,
okay. So
no, it won't get cancelled. We can put the time frame back. And the reason you set off when we do, because everyone's saying, well, why are you setting off when it's cold? Obviously, we need to get to Antigua before we get to the hurricane season. So,
I know. So, well, good luck with that. Yeah, good luck with that.
That's another thing you've got to think of.
Okay, folks, that's absolutely brilliant. So let's go for it. In January, let's get involved with Scott's programme and let's get involved with Cabbies do Atlantic Row.
Yep.
How about that?
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Brilliant, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming on, and I look forward to catching up with you. Take care.
Thanks, Sean.
Take care. Bye bye.
Thought you might say that.
London Taxi Radio, the Cabbies' choice.